I thought you'd be a part of it.
Tony Soprano was one of the most wanted men in New Jersey. The FBI had him on tape. Rival bosses wanted him dead. His own underboss once sat across from him and quietly considered clipping him. And yet, night after night, Tony walked out his front door in a bathrobe to grab the newspaper. Alone. No bodyguard. No armored car, not even a dog that lived past season 2. So here's the question that bothers every fan who's ever rewatched the show. How is this guy still alive? To understand the answer, you have to understand the world.
Boss, they're scared of you. They have to kiss your ass, laugh at your stupid joke.
Tony Soprano wasn't just a mob guy. He was the boss of the DeMeo crime family, a North Jersey operation that Paulie and Sil and the rest of them treated like royalty, a don, the top of the food chain. In the real world of organized crime, that title should come with consequences. Real bosses have drivers. They have crews shadowing them. John Gotti moved with an entourage. Paul Castellano had a car and a driver the night he was shot. Even Frank Cali, the acting boss of the Gambinos in 2019, had a home in a gated Staten Island neighborhood. And yet look at Tony. He drives himself. He answers his own door. He takes meetings in the back of a pork store with a single captain.
What line of work are you in?
Waste management consultant.
The man who runs waste management for half of New Jersey sleeps in a suburban house that a curious bear could wander up to. And did.
What's the matter?
The bear! Stay there!
So either David Chase made a massive plot hole that ran for 6 seasons, or there's something deeper going on. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the first piece. There's an unwritten rule in this thing of ours. You don't whack a boss. And you really don't whack him at home. It's not sentimental, it's structural. Because the second you hit a made man in his own living room, with his wife upstairs and his kids' homework on the kitchen table, you've done more than kill a guy. You've torn down the wall that protects every other mobster in the country. And every other boss suddenly has to wonder, am I next? So the entire underworld has an interest in keeping that wall standing. Break it, and you don't just have one family coming for you. You have all of them. Think about the logistics, too.
Save us blocking the neighbor.
You kill a guy at his house, you've got neighbors. You've got witnesses. You've got a widow screaming on the lawn at 3 a.m. while some poor patrolman calls in a homicide that lands on the front page of the Star Ledger. That's heat. That's feds. That's RICO indictments cascading through the whole organization. It's bad business. It's the opposite of what the mob is supposed to be. Quiet, profitable, invisible.
3 pops. Within a tight time frame, 24 hours. So there's no chance for them to hit back.
That's why, when Phil Leotardo decides to wipe out the DeMeo leadership, he sends shooters to Silvio's club, to a hotel lobby, to a newsstand, not to the houses. And when a shooter does go to a house, like in the Phil hit, notice they get the wrong guy.
Oh my God!
It's messy. It's sloppy. It's exactly what the rule is designed to prevent. Tony doesn't need 24-hour security at his home because the rules of the game are his security. For most of his career, the rulebook is a better bodyguard than any goon with a shotgun could ever be. But the code is only half the answer. The other half is money.
I'm running a fucking business, not a popularity. These HMOs, they pay out millions of dollars every day to die.
The mob is a business, a brutal, blood-soaked, Italian-American small business. And every single guy in that crew has one job: kick up, bring money to the boss.
It's all our construction with New York. Falls right into your kick.
Every soldier, every associate, every capo is out there hustling, running the union, running the card game, running the construction scam, and a piece of every dollar climbs the ladder until it lands in Tony's pocket. Now imagine pulling 2 of those guys off the street, telling them, forget the no-show job, forget the sports book, forget the truck hijacking. Your new gig is sitting in my driveway for 12 hours a day watching the mailman. What just happened? You took 2 earners and turned them into 2 expenses. Dependable guys don't come cheap.
I'm just another victim of Benny Fazio criminal mastermind.
That's right.
And the cheap guys? Those are the Stu-Nods, the Benny Fazios of the world. Guys who, as the show famously reminds us, can barely guard a house against a bear, let alone a professional hitter sent by New York. There's also a deeper problem.
When did they flip you? Tell me. Don't lie.
A bodyguard is a guy who's always near you, who knows your schedule, who knows your routes, who knows when your wife leaves for the spa, and which Gumar you're seeing on Thursday. If that guy ever gets flipped, by the feds, by a rival family, by a fat envelope of cash, he's not your protection anymore. He's your executioner.
Sway them towards new management. I thought you'd be a part of it.
The man closest to you is always the most dangerous man in the room. And Tony Soprano, a guy who can't even trust his own mother, understands this in his bones. Now here's where it gets interesting, because there's a third reason, and it might be the most important one of all.
Because you tell people I'm nothing.
In Tony's world, perception is everything. He isn't just running a family, he's performing one. Every suit he wears, every steak dinner at Vesuvio, every Cadillac in the driveway, it's all theater.
Who do you think you are?
He's projecting strength, and nothing signals weakness to a pack of sharks like a boss who needs protection. The moment Tony posts a guard at his front door, every captain in the family starts asking the same silent question. What is he afraid of? Who's he afraid of? Is he losing his grip? Is there a move coming we don't know about?
Whatever happened to Gary Cooper?
In a world where leadership is decided by who has the bigger pair, visible security is an advertisement for your own replacement. Remember, this is a man who walks into meetings alone with guys who've openly discussed killing him. Not because he's stupid, because the walk itself is the message. I'm the boss. I don't need an army. You need to worry about me, not the other way around.
But in my world, it does not go down.
And there's one more layer. The suburban life, the split-level house, the pool, the ducks. Tony spent his whole adult life trying to pretend, to himself and to his kids, that he was a normal waste management executive from North Caldwell.
What do you have, raccoons?
Somebody's jimmying a window.
What?
You have all these security lights.
A bodyguard on the lawn shatters that fantasy in a single afternoon. Meadow starts asking questions. AJ? Well, AJ might not notice, but the neighbors will, the feds will, the IRS will. Security is an admission, and Tony Soprano, until the very end, refuses to admit anything. So put it all together. The code protected him, the economics punished him for trying, and the image, the performance of invincibility, demanded that he stay exposed. Tony Soprano didn't have bodyguards, because bodyguards would have killed him faster than any hitter. And that's the real insight the show is quietly making, episode after episode, across 6 seasons.
Used to be a guy got pinched, he took his prison jolt no matter what.
The mafia isn't powerful because it's armed. It's powerful because it's a shared hallucination. A set of rules everyone agrees to follow, because the alternative, chaos, endless war, federal sentences stacked to the sky, is worse for everyone.
Phil has to know that punishment has been meted out, and that's all there is.
The moment guys stop believing in the rules, the whole thing collapses. And it does collapse. Watch the final season again. Phil breaks the code by trying to hit Tony's family. Tony breaks the code by hitting Phil in front of his grandchildren.
Not a fucking peep.
Rusty gets clipped in his driveway. The illusion tears. The war starts. And by the time the Holstons cuts to black, there's almost nobody left at the top of either family who isn't dead, in prison, or a rat. The bodyguard Tony never hired wouldn't have saved him.
That cocksucking piece of shit, Tony Soprano's cousin.
Because what was killing him was never a hitter. It was the slow erosion of every unspoken rule that had kept a man in a bathrobe safe on his own driveway for 30 years. Tony Soprano didn't need security. He needed the system to hold. And when it stopped holding, no bodyguard on earth was going to save him. That's the real tragedy hiding underneath the show. Not that the mob was violent, that it was always going to eat itself. Now I want to hear from you. If Tony had insisted on one bodyguard, just one, any character in the series, who would you pick? Paulie? Furio? Benny Fazio, criminal mastermind? Drop your pick in the comments and tell me how long he'd last. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into the Sopranos universe. Thanks.